everybody, this is Renaud, and we're doing Coach Talk number 14. I have a few questions today from all y'all, and I'm just going to go through them pretty quickly. I'm going to tell you the last one we're going to talk about today is really the first one I should start with. It's the favorite thing of mine that I address because it has the greatest impact on people's coaching. If coaches do not start a coaching call cleanly, I call it a clean entry, you can guarantee that the coaching session is going to be mediocre at best. You're going to wander all over the place and chase aliveness and tears and excitement and, whatever the new sort of sparkly bit is. So getting a really clean entry into the coaching means the most. I'm going to make you wait for that, though, because I want to hit these other ones quickly. Okay, so how do you work with clients on visioning? What steps or tools have you used to get more defined themes or goals, in terms of a vision? And the last part of this question for this person was, what have you done when visioning was too scary for your clients? I'm going to start with the last one. Listen, we all have lives that we like to reside in a place of. I keep doing this thing with my mentor group that I'm working with. Like, this is order. Like, we like to stay in our place of order. And there's sort of this idea of chaos on the outside, and it's life as it changes, it's unexpected things that occur, it's just whatever are things that are outside our comfort zone that begin to creep in, because that's the way life works, and to invade our space of order or the known, so to speak. And as soon as you ask someone to imagine what's possible, if it's a place that they're not comfortable with, it represents chaos and pain or potential pain. It also represents whether they want to or they can relate to it in the moment, which is your job as a coach. It also represents sort of the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, or the pot of gold after you've slayed the dragon. But your client might see the dragon, and so your work is to certainly help them get in relationship with the best part of themselves and to engage the possibility of the gold versus staring at the dragon when there's a whole lot more to be gained than just wrestling with a dragon for your whole life. So what we're doing really in any of our coaching here is expanding our clients' sense of what is known in order to help them live what I say is the uncompromised version of their life. So enter the conversation of a vision. What do you want, right? Because we're always growing or dying, so we all want things, right? And there's a gap between where we are and where we want to go. So, visioning. So, how do you work with your clients on visioning? What tools have you used? Well, there's, tons of, I can share a couple things that I've done personally, but, if you go online and look up coaching visions or, not visions, vision boards or coaching visualizations, you'll be buried with stuff. There's visualizations for what some will call a future self. So, it's you 20 years from now. Right? That part of you that's got everything figured out, that, has the wisdom, has the results that you're going after, and you'll spend some time developing that, helping this person get into that experience, to know themselves, to engage that part of themselves and begin to live into that right now, right? There's no sense in waiting. So that's one thing. People use values. I don't really use values in my coaching, and that's maybe a whole video, maybe a series of videos for another day. But some people use values to help create a vision. Looking at this question over here, what other tools? There's stuff. There's the captain. People use something called the captain or inner leader. There are visualizations on your true self. And I'm a big fan of helping people find out, who are you at your best? What is the uncompromised version of you? Who are you when you have the greatest access to all these qualities? Now, I mentioned I don't do values. I do something I call personal standards. And I created those in answer to the deficiency that I think are inherent in doing values work. But that focus is on who are you at your best, where you're not quite showing up that way right now. And if you can begin to focus on those areas and or name clearly what those qualities are, and take conscious, clear actions on a regular basis around those things, you are taking small and sometimes great steps to live into those things, right? Live into those qualities. Because at the end of the day, that's why people come to coaching, is because they want to be a certain way. They want to live a certain way. They want to experience their lives a certain way, right? So if we can help our clients live into the qualities that allow those things to be, there you go. You've earned your money. All right? We can talk more about personal standards on another video. Okay, what are some good resources or techniques? This is a good one. I love this question. What are some good resources or techniques? It's funny how these two questions came grouped together, two different people. What are good resources or techniques that you recommend for teaching visualizations for people who don't visualize? All right, I'll just tell a quick story that I was working with a guy who was very, he was an older guy, and he was very committed to the idea that I don't visualize. I don't do that. I've never been able to. He'd been part of a couple different groups where they did that a lot, and he was just committed to, I don't do that. And I said, oh, okay, no, that's not a problem with what we're going to do. And I was pulling one over on him, though he didn't know it. And I said, oh, what kind of car do you have? And it was like is it a TT, an Audi TT? Is that right? I think that's the kind of car. And he said, oh, yeah. I said, what? I love that. I don't like that car. But I said, I love that car. What's the dashboard? There's something really cool about the dash. He said, oh, yeah, and he starts describing the dash. I said, no, but it's the cluster. Actually, the instrument cluster that I thought was really cool. I said, the way it was illuminated. He goes, oh, yeah, there's green lights, and then there's the tack is here. All right, I'm in New York City. I'm not sure where I have bad reception. Oh, wait, there's the Empire State Building, as a matter of fact. Isn't that fancy? All right, so yeah, I said, so the dash cluster. So what's the lighting and what's the and I had him explain it all and everything else, and then he goes. Then I said, oh, so you were just visualizing, right? You were just seeing that in your mind, and he. Oh, I guess you're right. So it's not true that everyone can do that. I don't suppose that's the case, but I've done some version of that technique many, many times with people who don't visualize. So once you've busted them on their commitment to their story that they don't visualize, sometimes you can get people to do the very visualization that you had hoped to do anyway. So then you can go ahead and do your visualization, right? So the other thing you can do is just say, hey, tell me if it were perfect, what would it be? So you don't have to actually say, close your eyes, go into a space, breathe, what do you see? You can just tell them, like, look, if it was perfect, what would you be doing? And in relation to, well, I'll grab that future self visualization that I referred to earlier. If you were doing that and it was somebody who didn't visualize, you'd say, so imagine yourself 20 years from now. What kind of clothes would you wear? And just debrief it from there. How would you walk? And maybe you're going for a walk with somebody, and you're doing your coaching. Say, how would you walk? Oh, I'd move more like this. I'd swing my hips a little bit more. I'd do more like this and that. Great. How would you talk? Oh, I would be much more articulate and enunciate my words better. And hey, Carrie. And then you're basically doing the sort of visualization, so to speak, without ever having to see anything. It's a really great way. And I'm a big fan of embodying things anyway. So if you do the visualization, those are great. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to debrief, metaphorically at the end of the day. After the visualization, a few minutes later, you're going to have to debrief it anyway, which means you're going to have to get them in the experience. How were you sitting? How were you walking and talking? What did he or she say? And all of those things. So you can even just take the shortcut, never mind the visualization, just get them in the experience, create it right now. And now I'm just going to remind all you guys too is you never get on people for being in their heads. Oh, wait, stop, Ron, you're talking. You're in your head too much. Get in your body. That's the quickest way to kill your relationship or your client's sense of connection with you, because you're asking them to be vulnerable and imagine things and go to this sort of make-believe land to create their vision. And the first thing you're doing is telling them to stop being a part of themselves. Doesn't work. So one, you got to love their thoughts, their brain. It's a good thing. Keep your thoughts. Keep your brain, Ron. It's great. And what do you want to bring in, coaches? Physical body. So how you're walking, how you're moving, what's the set of your head and your chin? How are you breathing? Right? And what emotions are present? You want to bring that stuff as well. Okay, so you've got emotions, use of the body, breathing, use of your body, right? physical sensations. So it might be a warmth in your hands. Notice how warm or cool or tingly that might be going on as you're doing as you're debriefing this visualization. Cool. Okay. Okay, last little bit for today's Q&A is clean entry, as I talked about. So this is the thing that kills really any good coaching is people's inability to start their coaching, what I say, cleanly. They don't get a clean agenda. They get a topic, a general something to talk about, if they even do that. And then what people tend to do is, well, I'll just demonstrate it. I think it's easiest. So you're going to work with me and, hey, Ron, what do you want to work on today? And I say, I've been really upset with my friend. You know, he's such a pain in the rear end, and, or, you know, whatever. And what often coaches go is, oh, so his friend's a rear end. For his friend's a pain in the rear end. And so they just start coaching. You have no idea what I want coaching on. Maybe I realize I'm the guy that turns him into that. Maybe I realize I've got the story. Maybe I realize he's not a good friend, and I've got to find a way to communicate this to him and ask him to change. Or maybe I want to never speak with him again. I need to have the courage to stand up and say, you know what, dude, this doesn't work for me anymore. You know, I don't even know what you say. How do you break up with a dude? I don't know. Look, I don't want to hang out with you anymore. Whatever. But you can't assume, and coaches just assume. They get a general topic, and then they launch in and do crappy coaching. So you got to go from a topic to an agenda. So Ron, I get that your friend's kind of being a punk, or I don't remember what I just said, but things aren't working out too well with your buddy. What specifically do you want? What do you want with our time? Yeah, the truth is I realize that I haven't been giving him, my best ear. I've been a little fussy with him, and I need to listen better to him. I need to be a better friend. Okay, Ron, so we're going to help you be a better friend. Is that right? Yes, great. And then you're going to go into what does it mean to be a better friend, and help, in this case, Ron, get clear about his idea, his definition, his perception of what it means to be a good friend, and then implement it. Right? So what we've gone is from a topic to an agenda, specific agenda, and I've gotten agreement. I've articulated back, I've spoken back what my understanding of the agenda is, and I've gotten agreement. If you don't do all those things, if you don't do the first thing, you're in trouble. If you don't get a clear agenda, you're in trouble. If you don't get agreement, you might have nailed it. But oftentimes, if once you reflect back, hey, client, it sounds like you're working on this, sometimes they say, oh, well, no, it's not quite that. It's more like this. So go get your clarity. Get that agreement as to what you're talking about in any session. Okay. The last little bit about clean entry and coaching is, if you have an ongoing relationship, you're going to be holding them accountable, right? Holding them to account for the things that they said they would do. So I always start with specifically, what do you want to work on today? I want to work on being a better friend. Great. Now that we've got that, hey, how did you make out on doing 20 push-ups a day like you said you were going to do? Right? And then the reason I do that first, do that in that order, because a lot of coaches start with the accountability. The reason I start with the agenda first is because if you start with the accountability, what I've found with in my own work, but in really thousands of one-on-one sessions, mentor sessions, is it gets kind of squirrely. You start debriefing the learning from the wisdom, right, that you get from the accountability. Hey, I did my 20 push-ups. I learned this. I did that. And it just starts taking up so much time in the coaching relationship. And then it gets awkward to say, okay, that's good, you did that. Now what are you going to work on today? Because if you do it in the way that I'm prescribing, give it a try, throw some comments below, let me know what your experience is. But if you do it the other way, what you'll do is say, okay, Ron, so now that I know your agenda, cool, how did you make out with those push-ups? Oh, I did it this day, I did this, I did that, I'm really psyched. Great, Ron, what are you learning about yourself? Well, I'm a man of integrity. I'm showing up and I'm doing my thing. I'm doing just as I said. Fantastic. Great. So what are you going to do going forward, right? Because you want to see if there's something to continue with that. Well, I'm going to keep the 20 push-ups going and try to get up to 25 by the weekend or whatever else. Hey, Todd, good to see you. I'll hit those goals in just a moment, or hit that question in a moment. So then my client says, so I've done the 20 push-ups. I'm a man of integrity. Fantastic. What you've created in that moment in finding out the the client's experience and what they know about themselves. I'm a man of integrity. Is you're creating that aliveness, you're creating that engagement, you're helping me be in relationship with man of integrity. Guess what? You've already got that aliveness, that resonance, so to speak, to take into the agenda called Be a Better Friend. Hey, Ron, what would a man of integrity do in terms of being a better friend? I mean, you've already done all the heavy lifting, a lot of the heavy lifting probably, to address the client's agenda today. I hope that makes sense. Now, the thing is, if you do it the other way around is, oh, great, you learned those things, and oh, you're a man of integrity, great. So what do you want to work on today? And it breaks that, it just takes the edge off of that wisdom, that learning, that sense of self, that resonance, that aliveness that was created. And if you do it the way that I'm prescribing, you just ride that momentum right into the agenda. Cool? All right, I hope that all makes sense. Again, like I said, if you've got any questions, post them below. And Todd, I'm just going to see what you say here. Who sets the goals? You or your client? Is it a joint effort? Do you use season-long goals, or do you do short-term goals, week-long, day-long? Oh, those are great questions, Todd. I got to keep this one short. Give me a thumbs up if it's cool that I address this next Thursday at 11:30. You still there, Todd? All right, I'm going to have to do it next Thursday, Todd. All right, peace, everybody. And that's when I will address these great questions. All right. If you got something from this video, click like and subscribe in the center of the screen. There's a lot more videos and interviews on my channel. If you'd like to learn more about coaching Uncompromised, hit the icon on the left. If you'd like to see some more videos on living uncompromised, tap the icon on the right. If you have any questions, comments, or if you want me to cover any other topic, just write me below.